Well, good morning, everyone. We're back in the studio, as you can see. I'm back from Australia. I'm back from everywhere else that I've been traveling over the past couple of weeks. It's good to be back home. You know, like they say, there's no place like home. Even though everything was great everywhere I traveled, the people were wonderful. We had a great time. Australia was terrific, but it's always good to be home, back in the studio. And hope everybody is doing well. And we've had a lot going on these past couple of weeks, as you know, if you've been following my YouTube channel and Rumble. Been doing a lot on the Epstein matter because there's been a lot of news to report. So we try to stay on top of it. But you know, some of the things I want to get into today are really disappointing, I would say, in some ways discouraging, because we really have a major credibility problem in our government. And it's been happening now for quite some time. I think it's been going on for a long time, obviously, but in the past several years, I think it's been even more prominent, more out there, more in your face. And I think that's because of social media and because we get to see and hear things by the minute. We know what's going on. People make statements, you know, one day, and we see that on social media. The next day, they reverse themselves. There's a major credibility problem, and obviously it goes from the White House all the way into Congress and into our state elected officials. It's just all over the place. It's in the Department of Justice. It's in the FBI. Well, we don't believe people anymore, and for good reasons, because they mislead us and they lie to us consistently. And that's the bottom line. I wrote the book, Mafia Democracy. I said that this was going on a long time ago. Thank you, babe. Um, but it's become worse and worse and worse. Now they do it with impunity. They really don't even care that they're lying to us and that they're misleading us and that they're covering things up. That's where the real issue is. How do we straighten this out? I mean, I don't know. I'll get into the particulars of it, but how do we straighten it out? I don't know. You know, it's a moral issue too. People just don't care anymore about how they're perceived. They really don't, because they lie to us all the time. They mislead us all the time, and they don't seem to care. And the problem is we keep electing them again. We don't hold them accountable. You know, and I've said this how many times? If somebody that you love or you're doing business with lies to you once, all right, you give them a pass. You talk about it, you straighten it out, you give them a pass. Anybody can make a mistake. Second time around, start to say, hey, what's going on here? Maybe you sit them down again. Listen, this has got to stop. All right. You make it clear. The third time, that's it. You don't want any more to do with that person because you can't trust them. You know, it's the same in politics. But what do we say? We say, oh, it's politics. You know, they lie. It's politics. It's part of the game. No, it's lying. You can't give it any other name than what it is. It's lying. It's deception. It's misleading. And they've been doing this in consistently over the years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's just like I tell you, our public officials have the nerve to hold us accountable for the $36 trillion in debt that this nation is in. We didn't do that. Taxpayers didn't do that. Even the people that didn't pay their taxes didn't do that. It was irresponsible government that caused us to be in this debt. And yet they come upon us and they want to raise our taxes again to fix the problem that they created. And in the meantime, none of them is suffering for it because they all line their own pockets in the interim while they're doing it. The system has gone upside down, and we, the people, have to fix it. You know, it's very serious, people. This is not a joke anymore. And, you know, I'll get into some specifics. I want to go into the Epstein matter. I've done quite a bit on this, if you've noticed. But we have to talk about it because, look, this is a terrible thing that's gone on here. This is a human trafficking issue with Epstein. Forget, it's not prostitution. Look, prostitution is as old as humanity is. It's not a prostitution issue. It's a human trafficking of young girls issue. That's what it's about. And the fact that we haven't gotten the names of the people involved in this is just terrible, because it's happening, and it's happening among the rich, the powerful people. This is not happening among you and me. We're not visiting Epstein Island. We're not going to Diddy's parties. It's not us. It's people with power and money that believe that they can abuse people and abuse young girls. It's pedophilia. It's whatever disgusting word you want to use to describe it. It's horrible. And that's why with Epstein, we need to know who was involved in this. We absolutely do. There is a transparency issue here. And look, I told you, I am a Trump supporter. I put it out there. I support Trump's policies. Let me review them again. I support closing down our border and getting this border under control so we know who is in this country. We know who should be here and who shouldn't be here. We give people the right path to citizenship when they've earned it. Nobody's saying we don't want, migrants to come in and earn their citizenship. Yes, America was built on that, and let it continue. But the only way that happens is if Congress gets off their collective asses, both sides, and creates a system that's doable and workable so that people can come here the right way and earn their citizenship, and people that don't belong here are get deported. They need to create the proper system. They've never done it. But there again, they're blaming one another and they're going off and they're doing all the stupid, things, deceitful things that they always do. This is squarely on Congress's fault for not creating the proper system. That's the bottom line. So yes, I want borders that are closed to the wrong people and open to the right people. Trump is doing that. I am not for abortion in a late term at all. And I'm not for abortion to be used as birth control. And unfortunately, that's what's been going on for the past, ever since Roe versus Wade. Millions and millions and millions of babies were aborted because of birth control, not because of the mother's health. That's a smokescreen. Look, I have 7 kids and 7 grandchildren. None of them, the mothers were ever in. It's not a woman's health issue. That's nonsense. It's a lie. The only time it's a woman's health issue is when it really is a woman's health issue. When that woman, that mother, might be in jeopardy if that child goes to full term. We get that. And yes, we're going to choose the mother most of the time. We're going to do that. That's understandable. We get it. But that's a life and death experience. It's not something that happens every day. They use this for birth control. That's the truth. And the people that are out there telling you different are lying to you. It's not, abortion is not for birth control. We have other methods for that. So yes, I'm not for abortion in a late term unless there's an extenuating circumstance which we understand. Okay? I'm not for gender affirming surgery in minors. I'm not for it. So these are Trump's policies. I'm not going to get into all of them. These are Trump's policies. So I support Trump. His name could be Trump. His name could be O'Brien. His name could be Garcia. I don't care what his name is. If he has policies that I support him. I don't care if he's Democrat or Republican. Doesn't matter to me. So I support Trump for his policies and because I believe he really wants to bring America back to where it was. Period. So let's understand that. This isn't a Trump thing. But I was very disappointed in the fact that this Epstein matter was closed by the Department of Justice. They reversed themselves. They said they had files on the desk. We know that there is a client list. We know that there is a list of people that visited that island. We know that. We know that there's a flight log. Absolutely, there's a flight log. People that were on that plane visiting that island. We know for a fact that cameras were set up on every single bedroom. We know for a fact, it came out, that hundreds, maybe thousands of video recordings of people in bed with young women were taken by the FBI. They have this stuff. And they said they have to, they have to protect the innocent people, the young girls. I agree. Blur them out. We don't need to see them. But who are they in bed with? It doesn't matter. The chips have to fall where they may. We have to know this. And look, I'm not implicating Trump in this. I don't know what his relationship was. He admitted it. He did have a relationship with Epstein, like so many people did. He did have a falling out with him in 2004 or 2005, whenever it might have been. I'm not suggesting that Trump is holding this back because he's got some liability here. I'm not suggesting that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how many times Clinton, was in bed with one of these girls, or if he was at all. We don't have that evidence. They have the evidence. These tapes do exist. Why are we not seeing them? Okay, now Trump kind of reversed himself. He's releasing the grand jury testimony. Do we believe it? They're going to redact it. Who knows what we're going to see, what the final product is going to be? I don't know. This is more government cover-ups. They've been doing it all along. And let me tell you something. I can give you one reason why those tapes are not being shown. It's blackmail. Imagine if you have video of Bill Gates. We'll just throw his name because his name has been mentioned. He got a divorce because his wife knew that he was a friend of Epstein's and that he was visiting the island. So let's just use him. I'm not saying it was him, but let's just use him for a moment. If you have video with Bill Gates in bed with an underage girl, can you blackmail him? Of course you can. He's a billionaire. If you have video of the prince of someplace, in the Middle East, if you have him in bed with a young girl on video, can you blackmail him? Of course you can. Let me remind you of the scene in The Godfather. Remember? Godfather 2, the senator who was trying to extort Michael Corleone. What did Michael Corleone say? I'm not giving you one penny. I'll get even with you. What does he do? He sets him up in bed with a girl on drugs, gets it on video, and now the senator is doing his bidding. Remember at the hearing that they had to try to prove Michael was a member of organized crime, the boss of the family? This has been going on since forever. Blackmail. Those videos, without a doubt, will have people on there in a position of power and wealth. No question about it. And yes, there is a cover up. Nobody can tell me any differently. I'm sorry. I come from the street. I know what goes on. Diddy, they blew that whole case. I don't know why. Are we ever going to get the answers? No. And let me tell you something. I don't believe we're going to get any answers because they don't care enough about us to be totally transparent. They don't care because this system has reversed itself. They now think let me tell you something. They accuse of Donald Trump being a king. They all believe that we serve them. That's how this system has turned around. Our forefathers would be rolling in their graves because they tried to protect the people. It's gone reversed. Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, all of them, these names come to mind because they're in my feed every single day with their lies and their hypocrisy and their phoniness. And I'm not saying it's only on one side of the aisle. It's on both. But they believe they can dictate to us. They believe that they have power over us, and they do. And they use it, and they don't use it to our benefit. That's the problem. There is a huge credibility issue in government on both the federal and state level. And this Epstein thing only magnified it now. The lack of transparency, it only magnifies it. And it's terrible. It really is. I was talking to Paul Hutchinson, brilliant guy, very wealthy guy, self-made. He was the one that co-funded Sound of Freedom, that terrific movie about child human trafficking. It was Paul Hutchinson's character in the movie that actually saved that 51 or 52 young girls from the human traffickers, if you remember the scene. Brilliant. All right. Paul said it too. This is going on at an elite, powerful level. It's really happening. The United States is either the first or the second most human trafficked country in the nation, in the world, I should say. I'm sorry, in the world. Why? This is the United States of America. Why are we allowing this to go on? In the Biden administration, 300,000 young boys and girls were human trafficked into this country, and then we lost control of them. We don't know where they are. They're human trafficked. It's happening right here in the United States. This is filth. This is despicable. And covering it up is even worse. And it's happening across the board. Across the board. And for all you out there with TDS, remember, come on, this was all through the Biden administration. Why weren't you hollering and screaming then that this information wasn't released? Now that you think you can go against Trump, you're doing it. Stop the hypocrisy. Just stop. Okay, it's pathetic and it's sickening. All of a sudden you're screaming. But during the Biden administration, you weren't asking the same questions. Why wasn't the list released? Why wasn't the flight logs released? Why weren't the videos released? Why didn't we have transparency? For 4 years, you kept quiet. Now, because you want to say that Trump is implicated on this, now you're screaming like you really care about the young girls that were trafficked. Stop. Okay, it's such nonsense. You're such a bunch of hypocrites. I'm sorry. I call it like it is. This is a bipartisan issue. This is an American issue. This is a moral issue. We need to know who at the top is responsible for human trafficking of young girls. It has to come out. It has to be transparent, and it has to stop. That's the bottom line. This stuff has to be released. When Donald Trump said in that cabinet meeting, and I understand President Trump being upset about this because it is a distraction from all the good things that he's doing in this country. And he really is. He's got the border mess under control. All right. All these naysayers that the stock market is going to crash and all of that. All these people on the left who don't know the first thing about business or economy. Elizabeth Warren screaming. She doesn't know the first thing about economics or business. And yet she wants to tell Donald Trump and the rest of America what's happening. She doesn't have a clue, nor does Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is a liar and a buffoon. He doesn't know anything. But every single day, all they have to report is something anti-Trump. Why weren't they screaming about Epstein during the Biden administration? Because they don't care about the young girls that are being trafficked. They only care about ousting Trump so that they can get back in power. This is what this has become. It's a power and money issue. They're all wealthy. They're all enjoying their power and they want to maintain it. And they want that power over us. And I keep going back to, they want your taxpayer money so they can run up more debt while they get wealthy at our expense. That's the truth. It's in front of you all to see. Just ask yourself that question. How did we get $36 trillion in debt? Did you do it? Did I do it? Did anybody do it that's paying their taxes? Or even those that are not paying their taxes? We didn't do it. We didn't give all this money away at USAID. We didn't hire all these government workers to sit around or send them at home to do nothing. Taxpayers are paying for all of this. They did it. And they want to maintain their status, their power, and their pathway to wealth, because that's what the government has become. It's a path to gaining wealth. That's it. AOC, allegedly worth $22 million. You cut that in a quarter. How did she become worth $5 million? She's in Congress for the past 5 years. She was a bartender before that. Where did this money come from? That's all this has become. Wealth and power. And there's a huge credibility issue. And Epstein only highlights it. Diddy only highlights it. What did we find out this past week? Tulsi Gabbard is bringing forth actual documentation in the form of emails and texts going back and forth. They basically did set up the Russia hoax. It started with Obama. Clapper, Comey, all of these people are involved in setting up this hoax, the Steele dossier, which was a phony. They knew about it. The FBI said it. They were trying to take the will of the people through their votes out of their hands, and they wanted to choose the next presidential candidate. And of course, it was going to be their own, Biden. They did it, or Hillary Clinton, I should say, at the time. They did that. They don't care anymore. There's an ethics issue here also. These are morally irresponsible people. They basically were defrauding the citizens of this country by taking the right of their votes out of their hands and installing who they wanted to install, the same way they installed Kamala Harris. Nobody voted for her to be the candidate. Nobody. They installed her. And they cry about democracy, that Trump is usurping democracy. Really? You installed Kamala Harris. The will of the people wasn't shown there. You did this. You put your candidate in there. Nobody voted for her to be the candidate. They're hypocrites. They're phonies. They need to be held accountable. And it's only we, the people, that can do it. It's a huge task. A huge, huge task. And let me tell you something. All of these things that go on, all of these things, nobody's held accountable. The only person that's been held accountable is Donald Trump. They went after him with a vengeance. I'm going to tell you something, okay? I could understand if he wanted to be vengeful against the people that tried to destroy him. They tried to destroy him, his family. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put him in prison forever. Look what they did to that man. Put yourself in that position. How would you feel about it? Think about it. They went after with him. He's an ex-president. They went after him with a vengeance that we've never seen before. Assassination attempts. They threw every trick in the book at him. Every trick. What that man went through for 4 or 5 or 6 years, and the fact that he was able to overcome all of that, I don't care you like him, you hate him. I want to see anyone there that hates Trump. I want to see you stand up under that pressure. You couldn't do it. Normal guys couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. Normal person could not do it with Don. And I know I've been through a lot of adversity. I did a lot of stuff. And I'm telling you, I take my hat off to Donald Trump for what he's been able to overcome. So yeah, if he finds out, like it's coming out now, that Comey and Clapper and Brennan lied with this whole Russia collusion BS that it was, why wouldn't he want to investigate them? Because what they did, they pulled a fraud on the American people. Forget that they did it to Donald Trump. They pulled a fraud on the American people, and it should never be allowed to happen again. Who the hell do these people think they are, that they can perpetrate a scam like that and get away with it? They all belong in prison. Comey, I know he's no good. He investigated guys on the street. He'll frame you in a second. He's a weak guy. Brennan, weak. Clapper, weak. Because you know what? Strong people make their position strong. Weak people have the position make them strong. That's the difference. Comey, weak. Brennan, weak. Clapper, weak. They don't add strength to their position. They get strength from their position. There's a difference, a huge difference. I've seen it on the street all the time. They need to be held accountable. They need to be brought up before the American public to explain what they did. Clapper, Brennan, they lied through their teeth about the laptop being Russian disinformation. Lied through their teeth. Not one of them are held accountable. Not one of them. Who the hell do these people think they are? You and I would be in prison for a long time if we pulled half the stunts that they did. Half. Don't pay money to the IRS. Don't pay your taxes. Watch what happens to you. Yet they can run up 36. They can take our money and abuse it. $36 trillion in debt. They caused it while they got wealthy. While they benefited, they bankrupted this country. That's the facts. I wrote it in a book. Prove me wrong. Show me where I'm wrong. I'm not. I'd stake my life on it. I'm not. It's right out there. The evidence is clear. The Epstein issue only highlights it even more. The Diddy issue only highlights it even more. These people don't get away with this stuff for 20 years unless there's people in power behind them, unless they have information to blackmail people. This doesn't go on for that. You try it. I know I'm on the street. We're being investigated constantly for every move that we made. Every single move we made, we were investigated constantly. I had 7 indictments, 18 arrests, a 14 agency task force assigned to me. Who the hell am I? Okay, really? That they put those kind of resources against somebody like me, guys on the street? Oh, yeah, well, you're killing each other. Well, we're killing each other. We're not killing the American people. And in a way, our government, when they're irresponsible, they got blood on their hands. You don't think Biden and the Democrats have blood on their hands for allowing this invasion of people to come over the border? All of these criminals, murderers, rapists coming over the border? Will they ever be held accountable? No. No. But the poor people who are the victims of this, their lives are changed forever. The parents of those 2 young girls that were raped and murdered. Do you think they'll ever recover from that? Of course not. It's bad enough to lose a loved one, but to lose a loved one in that fashion? Come on. These people should be held accountable for all of their actions. They should be held accountable for putting our country in bankruptcy, practically. They should be held accountable for the invasion over the border. They should be held accountable for the Epstein cover-up, the Diddy cover-up, all of this stuff. We the people. Let me tell you something. You know how you'd hold this government accountable? If every one of us stood up and said, we're not paying our taxes anymore, the hell with you. Come after every one of the 300 million citizens in this country. Forget it. You'd see overnight a change because the money pool would stop for them. You'd see overnight there would be a change. But you know what? We cannot let something like this go. This whole Epstein matter, you can't let it go. The issue is the human trafficking of young girls that's happening to a large degree all over the world, but especially in America. We need to pursue this all the way down the line. We need to show these people that we want to protect our children and grandchildren from these demonic people that would abuse them. I'm telling you right now, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not perfect in any way. But if somebody were to abuse my daughter or my young grandchild, I'm going to jail. And they're not going to have a long life. I'm going to jail. I'll tell you, I'll gladly go to jail to take out somebody like that, an animal that would abuse a young girl or a young boy. These are animals. They deserve to be in a cage and locked up. I want to hear your comments about this. I just want to move on, but remember what I'm saying. All of this stuff that has gone on, it's a credibility issue with an immoral and unaccountable government it's gone wild. It has gone wild. We need to look. We need to really, really look. Don't get force-fed by people telling you things. We need to look into our candidates. See what kind of people they are, what kind of family they have, how they've lived their life. What's going on in New York City? This is the United States of America. The United States of America. We are a constitutional republic, a democratic nation, and we have a socialist, the front running for mayor of the biggest city in the country, a socialist. Socialism doesn't work anywhere in the world. And in the greatest city, the biggest city in our nation, we have a socialist candidate leading the pack. And now the Democrats, should we endorse him or not? Because all we need to do is defeat Republicans. So whoever's running, that's who we have to vote for. This is unbelievable. What's happening in this country? It's unbelievable. We, the people, need to stand up and say enough. We need to know who we're voting into office. We need to keep putting the pressure on to hold people accountable for their disgusting actions. We need to throw these people out when they lie to us. Hey, you lied. You're a liar. We gave you a chance. You didn't correct yourself. You're out. We need term limits. These people do not have the privilege of staying in power for 10, 20, 30, 40 years because all it is a power play at that point. They don't want to give up their private jets or their great hotels on taxpayer money or the lobbyists that come and feed them money to get their pet projects put in place or the money that they rob and steal that they divert to their family members and then it goes back into their pockets like that Biden did with his son running around the world collecting money using his father's vice presidency, as a linchpin to get money and then putting 10% back to the big guy. It was probably more than 10%. This happened. Suspicious bank records, money coming through the accounts into shell companies. It happened. Is he ever going to be held accountable? No. Is his family going to be held accountable? No. Preemptive pardons that he didn't even sign, use the auto pen. The biggest scams are being played on the American people. No doubt. No doubt. It's happening. We need to be conscious of it. We need to not stand for it. We need to put our voices together and say, no, we had enough. And let it start with the Epstein. We want everybody held accountable. We don't care who it is. From the top down, we don't care who it is. Accountability. We have the power to do that, but we need to do it together. We need to. Let me get to a couple of notes that I took on some other issues. I know I'm getting off on this, but you know what? There's nothing more important than this, people. Nothing. We have an accountability issue in our government. We have a credibility issue in our government. And if we don't get it under control, it's only going to get worse. And you know what, people? The reason, it's not that I'm not against the Democratic Party being a party, but I'm so disgusted with these hypocrites that are all of a sudden now raging against Donald Trump when they kept quiet through the Biden administration. Adam Schiff, I'm talking to you directly. You're the biggest phony, hypocrite, liar. How the heck you get, only in California, okay, through this Democratic BS system. I don't even know if the votes are being counted properly. You weren't put there. You're not the will of the people. You're a disgusting human being, the way you lie every day in your feed. All it is Trump. Such a liar. For the Biden administration, you kept quiet. Trump's past administration, all you tried to do is get him out of office with your lies and lies and lies, and you put this country through this whole Russiagate garbage. And now it's all coming out. You need to go to jail. You need to see what the inside of a jail cell is, that you would put somebody there in a minute. You'd lie to put them there. You need to be held accountable. Elizabeth Warren, you want to dictate and preach to us about economics? Every single day, the same thing with you. Trump. Put something forward that's to the benefit of the American people. You talk about the economy. What the hell do you know about economics? Did you ever what do you know? You've been living off of the taxpayer dime for how many years now? You don't know anything. Don't try to preach to us. You're nothing but a phony and a hypocrite. Every single day, Trump. Where were you during the Biden administration? Where were you when people were getting raped and murdered and killed? Where were you when they were taking over apartment complexes, the MS-13 people? Where were you? You kept your mouth shut during that time, didn't you? Now you want to talk about alligator Alcatraz? Stop the nonsense. What do you think? They're taking the immigrants and throwing them to the alligators and the pythons? You sound so immature and so ridiculous. All you people on the left that are screaming about that, stop the nonsense. You don't care about anybody in prison or about their conditions. All you care about is holding something against Trump. Stop. You think we're all a bunch of idiots out there? I see through you like you're a piece of glass. Like you're a window. You're such a hypocrite. All of you that are jumping, this new guy, Solwell, whatever the hell his name is, that other guy, all of a sudden he's out there. What happened to your affair with your Chinese spy that you were with? You skated that too. You're not a now you want to talk Trump, 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 Trump. It's nauseating because you don't offer anything positive. Do your damn job. Offer something positive. Bring a policy forward that helps the American people. Not some welfare thing where you want people to be dependent upon government so you can call the shots. All you want to do is extort and bribe people. Every one of you that want to keep people on government handouts, all you want to do is use that as leverage to extort them and bribe them and get their votes. It's time this stuff stops. American people, you need to get wise to these people. They're hypocrites. They don't care about you. They don't care about any one of us. They would bury us in a second if it meant that they could stay in office. Every single one of them. And many on both sides of the aisle. I'm sorry, but it's more prominent and more prevalent with all of these damn Democrats because all they do is jump on Trump. They don't care if he cured cancer, if he rescued a dying child or drowning. They don't care. They'll find fault in it because they want to maintain and get back into power. In many cases, he cut off their money stream, with USAID and all this stuff. Please, these people are nauseating, to say the least, because they're hurting this country so badly and the people of this country so badly. Really. Let me get to a couple other things, people, before I go into questions. All right. Well, Trump said we're going to see what happens with these grand jury, the grand jury minutes. I don't have any faith in it. They're going to redact it. They're going to take things out of it. Who knows what we're going to see? It's the same thing with the JFK files, same thing with the RFK files. They've already gone through them like Grant went through Richard with redacting everything, taking anything out of there that could be harmful or hold people accountable. They're going to do the same thing here. So, yeah, Trump ordered it, but what are we going to see? I don't trust any of them. I'll be honest with you. Alcatraz prison revival proposal. Listen, I don't have any feeling either way. Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz at the cost of $2 billion. Listen, look, prisons are necessary. People that commit crimes have to be held accountable. Unless you're the elites and you're taking advantage of young girls, then you get covered up. But if you're not in that elite category that supports these BS politicians, okay, that they want to protect or that they want to blackmail, one of the two, all right? We need prisons. They don't go to prison, but we do, for a lot of times minor things. But, you need prisons. Do we need prison reform? Yes. Prisons should be places where people are separated from their loved ones. Their freedom is taken away. That's the punishment. Separation from the people you love. Inability to earn a living. Okay? Confinement. Loss of freedom. That's what prison's all about. You're not supposed to be punished again in prison. The punishment is prison. The punishment is the four walls that you're held inside of. The punishment is not being able to spend time with your loved ones. The punishment is losing your freedom. The punishment is not being punished again inside the prison. So prison conditions should be livable. This is what people forget. The fact that you're in prison is the punishment. So yes, they should be reformed. Yes, it should be livable. It's not a country club. And certain privileges are taken away. We get it. You're being held accountable. Again, unless you're an elitist on the top, unless you're Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Biden's family and all these other people that skated the criminal activity that they were involved in. But if you're a common person like us, yeah, you're going to prison. So they open it up, Alcatraz. I don't care what prison you open it up. Just make it the right kind of institution, the right kind of place where people go there to lose their freedom, but they don't have to suffer more at the hands of despicable conditions that they have in prison. That's what needs to be reformed. And all you people on the left jumping up and down, about, alligator Alcatraz. Why don't you go into U.S. prisons where U.S. citizens are being held and have the same feeling that you have about alligator Alcatraz that you don't care about? You only want to go against Trump on it. You couldn't care less how these prisoners are being held. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? This is nothing but anti-Trump rhetoric. That's all it is. Go into the American prisons where American citizens are being held and clean them up first. You won't do that because you don't care. You're a bunch of phonies and liars and hypocrites. And you know what? For those of you on the Christian side that are saying, Michael, you're a Christian, how do you talk that way? Let me remind you that Jesus overthrew the tables in the temple and called people out. Jesus called the Pharisees to their face hypocrites because he was a man. Hypocrites, and he was protecting the people from their hypocrisy. And you know what? I don't compare myself to Jesus, but don't give me the Christian card that, oh, you're a Christian, you shouldn't be talking this way. It's all about love. No, it's all about accountability too. As Christians, we're held accountable for our actions. And so should everybody else be held accountable. I make a mistake, I'm held accountable. And I should be. I'm not above the law. I should be held accountable. And so should everybody else. So as far as Alcatraz, hey, Donald, you want to open it up? If we need more prisons in this country, if you think that's the answer, fine. Just do it the right way. Make the conditions proper for human. They're not going there to die. They're going there, okay, to pay for their crimes. They're not going there to die. You don't go to prison to die unless you got a life sentence. But you go in prison to put your time in because of the criminal behavior. So you shouldn't be in there to die or to be getting such horrible conditions, okay, that you can't survive. So open up the prison, do what you want, but make it the right way. Okay, what else do we have? Trump and the Russia ceasefire ultimatum. I'm not going to get into that foreign policy stuff. Look, whatever happens, happens, I mean, Trump has got to work that out. I don't pretend to know what's going on foreign soil. I mean, look, we read what we read. But again, how much can we believe of what we see? We make decisions and we come to conclusions based upon the information that's provided to us. And 50% of the time, it's BS. So how do we know? How do we even to arrive at conclusions when we're not being told the truth and we're using the information given to us that's false? How do we arrive at a sincere and a right conclusion? We have to do the best to disseminate what we see to try to come to a conclusion. Here we have about, listen, this stuff that Tulsi Gabbard is bringing forward now to show that they created this whole Russia collusion against Donald Trump so that Hillary Clinton would win the presidency. They made it up. They created it. They created it. Starting with Obama, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Schiff, all of these people. All of them. Mueller investigated to the tune of $36 trillion and couldn't find anything. They created it. They made it up. The same people that had 51 intelligence people that were involved in intelligence in the CIA and other forms of intelligence agencies here in this country lied about the laptop. They lied to the American people so that Biden would become president. These same people that went to Facebook and went to all these people and said, don't believe the laptop, it's Russian disinformation, when the FBI already authenticated the laptop. Do you understand this? They out and out lied. They're the ones that tried to, defraud us in the election. It wasn't Russia. It was them. They lied. And we give them a pass on it? Come on. They absolutely lied to us, out and out tried to deceive us, okay, and tried to get Donald Trump, not become the president. Hillary Clinton, financed the Steele dossier. That was BS. They used that. Brennan and Clapper and Comey knew it was a lie, and they used it anyway as the formation of the special counsel and that whole investigation. They out and out lied to us, and they're not being held accountable. They out and out lied to us about Biden's competency, and they're not being held accountable. Do you know that in front of the investigation now, in front of the commission that's investigating, okay, Biden's competency and the use of the auto pen, you know they're all taking the Fifth Amendment? All of his staff, they're taking the Fifth. Why are they taking the Fifth? They don't want to be caught in a lie. Because if they say that they knew that Biden was incompetent, what is that going to show? That maybe all of his, 2,500 pardons, whatever, none of them were any good? They're all going to say that they can't tell the truth. So they have to take the Fifth. They knew he was incompetent. They knew he wasn't running the presidency. They were doing it. They were making decisions. Do you understand? Do you understand what that was all about? We had a president that wasn't making presidential decisions. Staff members were doing it. This is the greatest scam ever pulled on the United States of America. Credibility issue. That's what this was all about. That's what I started this credibility issue. We can't believe them anymore. Trump is doing his best to try to revive it. Donald, let the Epstein thing, let it come out, Donald. You got to let it come out. You got to somehow let the people understand, okay, that you're not going to go for this anymore. And let me tell you something. All you lying Democrats that are saying that this is going to bury Trump, that his polling numbers are dropping, it's a lie. He polled higher last week. You're not fooling the American people anymore. You're not fooling the American people by paying these protesters that don't even know what they're protesting about. You just put money in their pocket. That's all. You're not fooling the American public anymore. You've gotten to the point where your lies have caught up with you. Your hypocrisy has caught up with you. Nobody believes you anymore. Let me get to some questions and comments. All right, we're going to go to YouTube quickly. Nobody believes you anymore. All right, again, you know what? We don't ask for donations here, but we appreciate it very much. We don't solicit it from you. We put it to good use. We don't ask it of you, but those of you that are doing it, I answer your questions first. I think that's courteous. And thank you very much. And for those of you that are not, don't worry about it. We're not asking for this. So we have Lapco. Thank you very much, Lapco. The real evil of corruption is how it taints everything around it. Lazy, corrupt, selfish politicians and government officials have done unspeakable things in our name and gotten away with it for too long. They impugn our honor. Lapco, you are so right on point with that. So right on point. They make us look bad as a nation. I know. When I was traveling during the Biden administration, people are saying, what's going on with your country, Michael? What's going on? These people, they're bringing our nation down. And we need to hold them accountable and boot them out of office and show them we're not standing for their lies and their hypocrisy and their phony nonsense anymore. Adam Schiff needs to be thrown out of office. What's her name? Elizabeth Warren, thrown out of office. Get rid of them. Get them out of office because they're liars and hypocrites. And that goes across the board for anybody else that I'm missing on both sides of the aisle. On both sides. Please, Lapko, thank you very much for that. I mean it. Machiavellics, being white is great. Mossad members are on Epstein. Well, being white, being black, being anything is great according to how you carry yourself as a person. It's more important, you individually, how you carry yourself is being great. And that's when dividends pay off. Mossad members on Epstein list, I wouldn't doubt it. I think he was hooked up with Mossad. I have to say that. So there's so much more there for us to find out. We need to know the root of this evil. We need to know where it's coming from. And we need to stamp it out. I think he had something to do with Mossad. Yes, I believe that now. After the deep dive, and listen, go to my YouTube. You'll see the deep dive I did on Epstein. We did a great job on this. Me and my team, we really looked into it. It's on yesterday's, what's today? Saturday, Thursday's video. It's up there. It's posted. Go and look at it. Machiavellian, thank you. Okay, who else do we have here? Mind Chaos Brew. The people have been subjected to treason. Imagine if the President Trump would have had 2 terms back to back, we might be better off as a nation. I believe that. I believe that because, first of all, nobody could have been as destructive as Joe Biden and his whole administration. Nobody. He set this country back in innumerable ways. He has blood on his hands. People died as a result of his open border tactics. And only reason he opened the border up was to get these people and put them in different states and turn every state blue. And then the next scheme was no voter ID, just come and vote. And all of these 20 million migrants that he was bringing over would vote Democrat. They would put the whole Democrat machine out there during election season and have them all vote. That's the only reason he did it. There was no humanitarian reason. He didn't care who got hurt. He didn't care who got killed. He didn't care about anything. Neither did these phony progressive Democrats who are now screaming about Trump. They're a bunch of liars and hypocrites. Remember that. Remember the word hypocrite. That's what they are. All of them. Mind Chaos Brew, thank you very much. You're right. It is treason. There's no doubt about it. It was treasonous. Okay, let me get to a few more. The new cinema, it's both sides. We are dopes and weaklings. You're right. It is both sides, no question. But it's more prevalent now on the progressive Democratic. The progressives need to become their own party so we can oust them, so that we can see how ridiculously far to the left they are, that none of us go along with their stupidity and their insanity. And the Democrats need to go back to being the Democratic Party, not the Democratic Progressive Party. But you know what? The Democrats have no backbone. Jeffries, the minority speaker in the House, get some backbone and tell these progressives, get lost. You don't represent the will of the American people. They don't want gender-affirming surgery in minors. They don't want LGBTQ running rampant all over the country, influencing our young children to change their gender at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They don't want that. That's what the progressives want. Oust that party. Let the American people take care of that. They won't get 2% of the votes. Trust me, if they ran as their own independent party. But the Democrats have no backbone. None. They don't stand up. Where is big shot Nancy Pelosi now saying, hey, you progressives, you don't represent my district. You don't represent the way my people think. Get lost. Where's Elizabeth Warren saying, no, I represent decent people. My people don't believe in this. Get lost. They have no backbone, none whatsoever. All they want is, hey, if that leads us back into power, we don't care what they're saying. They're now confused. Should we endorse this guy, what's his name, Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, Mandami? Should we endorse him or not? Do the people, they don't know what to do. They won't stand up and say, wait, this is a socialist. We live in America. We don't want to, get lost. We're not endorsing you. They're afraid. They have no backbone because they don't represent the people. Bottom line, they don't. Okay, Truth Hurts TV. They went to re-education camp. Yes. Rod Safari, any bosses out there? If so, repeat after me. Government, you are fired. Don't forget, we're the boss. Absolutely. Gavin New Scum. Absolutely. Another phony, liar, hypocrite. He's trying to figure out, what should I do now? What do the people want? He doesn't have any principle. He doesn't have any ethics. No principle whatsoever. He's just trying to see which way the wind is blowing, that he can catch the sail and glide himself into the presidency and then impose his ridiculous reforms and policies like he's done in California. He's such a weakling. You know, he's the same guy that's imposing masks on you while he's eating at French Laundry, the most expensive restaurant in all of California, among all of his people. He's a phony. He's the one that's wasted all this money on this railway that he was getting government money from. Who, God knows whose pockets that money went into. He's a guy that's chasing business out of California in droves, that wasn't prepared for the fires that destroyed the Pacific Palisades. He's the guy that wants wind and doesn't want coal fuel, but then tells us don't put on your air conditioners in the summer because we don't have enough energy. The guy's an idiot. He's a phony with his slick back hair and trying to look cool and putting his jeans on and waving his. He's a phony. He's not a leader at all. You don't want this guy as president. He's full of baloney, as we used to say, me and Sammy and I on the streets. He destroyed California, one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful state in the country. He destroyed it. Everybody's leaving here. He said, oh, people aren't leaving. Yes, they are, you liar. You never tell the truth. You lie all the time. Every single day, you lie. And now what's your rhetoric? Trump, 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 Trump. Jump on the Trump hate bandwagon. Maybe that'll sail you into office. Get on it with Epstein now. Go for it. Go for it. Come on. I could see through you like a pane of glass. And hopefully the American people and the citizens of California are seeing through you too. Open borders, sanctuary city. Get lost. Get lost, Newsom. You're a joke in plain English. Okay, we have Dale. Most folk can't handle the truth. You're right, Dale. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dale. Greg Mitchell. Thank you, Greg. Now these dang people posting your letters from prison and family photos on eBay. Mike, but any take on that? Also, any good shows you're watching? How do you decompress from this high blood pressure you be getting riled up? I don't have high blood pressure. I just love my country. And I can see through the hypocrisy. I can see through it. And the hypocrisy is so damaging to our people. That's what's disappointing to me. It's nothing more. Like I say, people, listen, I live a good life. I'm not complaining, but I have children and grandchildren that are going to go on hopefully long before I'm gone. And I don't want these people turning this nation into a socialist country. I don't want my kids dependent upon the government. I don't want my grandchildren dependent upon the government. I don't want my granddaughters competing against men in sports. My little granddaughter's a softball player. I don't want her competing against some guy that, God forbid, he hits a ball and knocks it down her throat because she's a pitcher. I don't want any of that. That's why you hear me talking like this and getting riled up, because I see through their hypocrisy. And I see through the fact that these people are becoming wealthy on our dimes and they're bankrupting the country in the process. $36 trillion in debt. They did it, not you or me or any of these American citizens. They did it and they got wealthy while they were bankrupting our country. That's the truth. It's right before your very eyes to see. Ask them that. Hey, why did this country get into debt? Who caused this? They can't answer that. They can't even bring up some convoluted statement to try to answer that. The fact is, you control the purse strings, Congress. You did it. The American people didn't do it. The billionaires didn't do it. The billionaires are not paying their fair share. Why should any of us pay taxes and give it to you to abuse? Make yourself wealthy and put us in debt at the same time. There isn't a company in this country, in the world, that could survive under that would last. All the CEOs, they would all be in jail if they did it. They'd be ousted from the company. They'd be sued and probably put in prison for fraud. You defrauded the American public. All of you did. You defrauded the United States of America by putting our country in this kind of debt and continuing to do it. But don't pay your taxes, and what happens? We're the bad person, and you get a pass on it. Congress controls the purse strings. You put us in debt. Every single one of you. That's why you need term limits, because you shouldn't be allowed to become wealthy while you're putting this country in debt and then going after the very people that gave you the money that you abused. Yeah, there's people supposedly on eBay. Greg Mitchell brought it to my attention. There's a love letter because all my letters to my wife when I was in prison were love letters. I'm sorry, I love my wife and I missed her dramatically because for me, the punishment of being in prison was separation from the people that I love. That's what prison is: loss of freedom, separation from the people that you love, loss of privileges, of freedom that freedom allows. That's what prison is about. So, yeah, I wrote my wife a love letter every single day because I loved her and I missed her. And I wrote my kids the same thing. Well, somebody who's probably a CO because they monitor your mail got one of my letters and posted it on eBay. Hey, you want to see how I love him? $450 for it. That's crazy. If somebody wants to see a love letter to my wife, I'll give it to you for free. Don't buy it, and I'm not going to buy it back. Why? Because who knows? Maybe they photocopied it and have another one. I don't know. If somebody wants to be low enough, and desperate enough to put one of my love letters on eBay to sell, more power to you, my friend. I feel for you. I'll pray for you, as a matter of fact. More power to you. Also, any good shows you're watching? Not much. I've been traveling so much lately, so I haven't been watching much, but I'll get back into it now that I'll be home for a couple of weeks at least, Greg. And thank you for your support. And my blood pressure is fine. And, a lot of people have been asking, Michael, you don't look good. I did lose some weight, but I lost it, purposely because my doctor said they've been telling me that I'm pre-diabetic, but they've been saying that forever. So I cut down on sweets and sugar and stuff like that. I lost a few. I'm very healthy, people. The only issue I have right now is my back for some reason. I don't get it. I woke up one morning and my back hurt. That was it. I didn't do anything. I aggravated maybe during the move. I was helping move a little bit because I like to stay active. So I didn't have to, but I did. And so maybe I inflamed it a little bit more. Who knows? Other than that, I'm healthy, people. Trust me on that. So maybe I'll gain a few pounds back. I haven't been able to get to the gym lately because of all the traveling I'm doing, but starting Monday, I'll be back there. Okay. So, but thanks all of you that are concerned about my health. Put it aside. I'm in great shape. No problem. I'm very active. I do all the things I need to do. And I'll get back in the gym on Monday. And I only lost like 5 pounds, not a lot, but you can see it in my face. Everybody's saying so. But I promise you, they're not shutting me up. Until I'm in the grave, nobody's shutting me up. So don't worry about it. Okay, who else do we have here? Rex Van Rim. Thank you very much, sir. If Bongino quits his role at the FBI, will his show lose half his audience? I like Dan Bongino. He's a man of integrity. He's a good person, and he's honest. And he's upset. And I don't blame him for being upset. I support whatever he does. If he quits the FBI, I support him. If he goes back on his podcast, I'll be the first one to listen. He's a good person. He's a man of integrity, and he's upset by the actions of the Department of Justice with respect to the Epstein deal. I understand that. Whatever Dan Bongino does in this regard, I believe in him. I trust him. I respect him, and I think you all should be. So he's having, he's troubled by this. Kash Patel, I don't know him as well, but I like the guy. I really do. I think from what I've seen, his answers, the way he responds, the way he carries himself. Okay, I like what he's about. I like him as director of the FBI. Remember, the information that was brought to them was done by the past administration. Remember that. The past Justice Department of Justice, who trusted any of them? Even Barr, I don't trust that guy. They did this investigation. They're the ones that covered up this stuff with Epstein. It was handed to Bongino and it was handed to Kash Patel. That's what they had to go by. So their conclusions are based upon what they were handed. Remember that. They didn't do the investigation. So I feel for them in that regard, because if they'd done the investigation, it would have been more honest. I believe that because they're honest guys. Okay. Do planks every day, Machiavelli. I do planks, and you know what? I can do them far longer than people at my age group should be able to do them. They say 20 seconds. I could stay up there a long time. So I have no problem with planks. Trust me. But thanks for that. Thanks for that good information. Okay, who else do we have here? Let me see. Oh boy. Okay, I think we went through all of those. All right, I got a few more here, and then we're going to go to Rumble. Lapco 92 again, Lapco, thank you. I was minding my own business, and suddenly 1975 was 50 years ago. Take care of yourself, my friend. You've only got about 30 years left. Well, I hope so. From your lips to God's ears, as we say. My dad, 103, so I got a few years ahead of me, hopefully. But listen, we don't know every day what's going on. And by the way, people, for any of you that are in Southern California, I have to mention this. Tonight is Greg Laurie's Harvest Crusade at Angel Stadium in Anaheim. I am going to be up on the stage making the first announcements and leading the prayer for everybody there. There's going to be 50,000 people there tonight. This is the 33rd year in a row that Greg has held. Pastor Greg Laurie, my dear friend, I love that. He was very responsible for me coming to Christ. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in another time. But this is an amazing event, amazing event. Okay, tremendous worship groups are going to be there. It's just an exhilarating, amazing, encouraging event. If you're in Southern California, it's free. Come there tonight. Doors open at 5 o'clock. Gates open at 5. The event begins at 7 p.m. I'll be on the stage sharp at 7. I'll be slightly after that. I'm going to be saying a few words and then saying the prayer so that everyone is blessed this evening. So if you can make it, make it. If you want to talk to me in the comments section, please do. But tonight at Angel Stadium, Harvest Crusade, Pastor Greg Laurie, amazing event. So many people come to the Lord through these events. It's unbelievable. I'm talking thousands of people, okay, are encouraged in the Lord. And we don't miss it when we're in town. As a matter of fact, we plan to be in town every year that it's there because I am so encouraged and enriched, from this event. So please, if you're in Southern California, close by, get in your car and get there tonight. I guarantee you're going to love it. An offer you shouldn't refuse. Okay, if Cash and Bongino are honest, why are they not saying that the International Crime Syndicate has told them to stand down? Why are they not naming the people that have forced them and Trump to heel? Listen, they may not have that information, okay? They may not. Remember, they were handed information that was investigated by the prior administration. Remember that. The same thing with Diddy, Comey, and his administration. They're the ones that investigated this. Remember that. Okay, they were given this information, this investigative information. They didn't initiate the investigation. So you got to give them a break and understand that. And don't accuse them of knowing things that they may not know. Please. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need everything released. We got to try. I think there should be a special counsel for this. If we can even believe that, again, it goes back to what I opened this conversation. Credibility issue in government. We don't know who to believe or what to believe anymore. All right, YouTube, thank you very much. I have to switch. I have to go to Rumble right now, but stay aboard because we're going to answer their questions. We only got a little bit more time. Okay, let me see. Where are we? 1 minute, people. All right. Lilo Stint, we need God-fearing men and women to stay in California or Washington and fight the human wolves infiltrating our West Coast states. Fight. Agreed. We, the people, have the power to put the right people in office. We need to do our work. We need to do our research. We need to investigate these people, not just throw them on there, okay, so that they can hurt us later on. We need to do the work before the voting starts. We need to look into these candidates. And we need to hold these people accountable. Blue Angel Halo. Everyone's voice box will be broken if the tell with Epstein, if if they tell with Epstein. So tell. Okay, well, in other words, release the information that we have. How much of it has been redacted or changed or omitted, we don't know. But we should get to whatever we have. Michael, I dare you to listen to Katie Johnson and Jessica Lee Collins' testimony. You don't have to dare me. If it's good testimony, I'll listen. Seems to be Bongino and Patel and Bondi lied to your face. They knew exactly what they were doing, a complete cover up. No, I don't. Again, I can't say that. Remember, they did not do the investigation. They didn't do it. They were handed the investigative report from the prior Department of Justice. They didn't do the entire investigation. Remember, even give Bondi a little bit of this. She said, the information is on my desk because it was handed to her from the prior administration, from the prior Department of Justice, from the prior FBI. They didn't do the investigation. So who knows what they're looking at? That's the problem. What's been redacted? What's been left out? What's been covered up? And where are the videotapes? These should be released. Now, I do say that I'm not saying there isn't a cover up. And I'm not saying the current administration might be trying to cover things up. That may be happening. That might be happening, but they didn't do the initial investigation. Remember that. But if there are names on there, we want to see them. Pam Bondi, I respect you, but we want to see them. And I'm not holding Dan Bongino accountable because he did stand up and he is troubled and bothered by this. But remember, he's not the one that calls all the shots. But let's see what happens now that the pressure is being put on. Let's see what happens. Okay, the same way they're saying Trump is hiding all of this because his name on the list. We don't know that yet. But let's keep forcing the issue so that this does come out and then let the chips fall where they may. Remember, Biden kept this under wraps for 4 years. Nobody was screaming and hollering then. But because Bondi came out and Trump said, hey, we want to show all the files. Okay, show us now. We want to see it. Show us. Okay, Dar family, super axiom. Spread the word if you know any good people in California, please. I'm on the East Coast, but I care and so do others. Look, California, we got to take this state back. We got to. I live in Newport Beach, and these people are very conservative and sensible down here. It's one of the reasons I live here. We didn't vote for this idiot Newsom. Not at all. We know he's damaging to this state. We know he'll be even worse for this country. All he's doing now is getting ready to run for president. He's going to run. He's a power-hungry, crazy guy. He's going to run, and he'll destroy America like he destroyed California. No doubt about it. Okay, America, don't go into battle without shooting up a quick prayer to Archangel Michael for protection within his wings. Holy Spirit, surround me in light, then hit the front line. Thank you very much for that. And that was from America First, PHL. P. Willis, I believe it was sent up to where the FBI didn't get most of the evidence on Epstein. They didn't. This was investigated by the prior Department of Justice and FBI. You know how corrupt they were? Come on. Look at Comey. Corrupt as the day is long. Excuse me. There's no question that their whole investigation, you can't believe it. Absolutely not. Seems to be the corrupt parties give us our options. We have zero choices to vote for. Well, I know, but we have to change that. We have to look into our candidates. We really do. I'm serious. We got to look into their background and we got to listen carefully to what they're saying. No doubt about it. Anybody that votes for this guy, Mondami, they got to have their head examined. He will destroy New York. Absolutely destroy it. Put it worse in the gutter than it is already. J-Lo McCack, Kim Noble and Marina Abramovich must be arrested. Arrest the Podesta child abuse. Okay, I can't comment on that because I'm not aware of it. Scott Hanna, California and Oregon and Washington can't be saved in your lifetime. Don't waste your life. Well, I don't look at it that way. Listen, people that do nothing and have a platform that can do something, they should be held accountable also. We can't live in a bubble. When we see something wrong, we have to do our best to fix it. And that's what I'm trying to do for my children and grandchildren and for the rest of the people in this country. Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've been to every city in this country. Every city in this country, I've seen war. And when I say every major city, let me clarify, in every state. And I've been seeing nothing but warm, wonderful people. The reception I get is always warm and wonderful. There are good people throughout America, very good people. All we see is the bad stuff. All that's highlighted in the media is the bad stuff. There are very good people in this country that have high moral standards and that want to do the right thing for the country, for their families, for their neighbors. These people need to stand up against these tyrants and these liars and hypocrites. And we need to hold our government officials accountable for their actions, for their misdeeds, for their horrible behavior. It's the only way we're going to stop it. Accountability. The only way we're going to stop it. Okay, P. Willis, thank you, moderator, for removing some of these racist people in this chat. We voted for Trump. I stand with Trump. I'm not Israel first and Netanyahu. I'm God and America first. Well, thank you for that. I don't know who's racist, but, racism is just horrible against any race. It's just horrible. I have to say this. The older I get, the more I realize it. It's just horrible. There are differences in cultures, and sometimes, we can't adjust to those cultural differences. I get that. But it shouldn't go to the extreme of racism and hating those people because of their culture, because of their blackness, their whiteness, their whatever shade they happen to be, brown. We shouldn't hate people because of that. We understand that we may not coincide with their culture all the time, but it shouldn't go to the height of racism. It's a horrible thing. It really is. Jay Barbaro, Michael, gladly do time in a new facility like Alligator Alcatraz. At Attica, everything was broken in, conditions, forget about it. Couldn't move 1 foot in any direction without having any shank ready. Of course. But why aren't these politicians, these progressives and Democrats, screaming about that? Because the truth of the matter is, they don't care about the American people. They're only on to this Alligator Alcatraz BS because of Trump. That's it. There's no other reason. These are phonies and hypocrites. I'm going to be screaming this at the top of my lungs, okay, from now until the election and beyond that. Don't buy into this BS. They're lying to you. They don't care about you. That's the bottom line. All they care about is maintaining power, getting back into a better position of power, and taking your money and enriching themselves and wasting it on their programs. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. So here's the progression. They want to, 1, get into power. Number 2, maintain power at all costs. Number 3, tax us like crazy so that they have the ability to use that taxpayer money to enrich themselves and maintain their status. That's the progression. Very simple. Get in office, maintain position, tax the hell out of you so that they can use your money to enrich themselves and stay in power. That's it. 4 steps. That's it. And they'll do whatever is necessary to do it and stay there. That's it. Okay, really, no way. They'd never do that. I'm being sarcastic. Okay. People, I have to tell you, I have to thank you, first of all. I have to mention this because people in the chat are asking about Franzese wine. First, let me tell you this. Walmart has now picked up our wine in 7 states, and we can list the states for you there. Our non-alcoholic wine, they'll soon be picking up all our wine varieties. Last year, at this time, we were in 400 locations. Today, we're in 3,500 locations. By the end of the year, we'll be in 5,000 locations. We're now in the country of Australia, and it looks like we're going to be in Thailand and India over the next couple of months. What does that tell you? People are loving our wine. I get so many wonderful comments from people that are direct to consumers. They're buying it online, or they're going to Costco, they're going to Walmart, they're going to Albertsons, they're going to Kroger stores, they're going to Total Wines and every other place. And they're picking up our varieties and they're loving it. Our pomegranate wine in a unique pomegranate bottle is flying off the shelves. You can only get it from us. From our wine originates in Armenia, where the first vineyards in the new civilization were grown. Okay, it's the birthplace of wine on the entire planet. Okay, so under the new civilization, people are loving it. Now we have our blackberry wine. It's in limited supply right now because we can't get enough of it. Again, in a beautiful blackberry bottle. I happen to love it. It's my favorite. I'm not too keen on the pomegranate only because I'm not big into pomegranates, but people are and they're loving it. But our Areni, the original Pinot Noir, our Malbec, our white wine, it's similar to a Sauvignon Blanc. Delicious wines that people are loving it for the price. Everybody on here can afford our wine. I always try to give value to my people at the right price. That's it. I'm not looking to soak you. I don't need my name on a, $500 bottle of wine or a $250 bottle of wine. That's not what I'm all about, people. I'm all about making myself accessible to you, whether it be me, myself, or my products or whatever else. So listen, go and try Franzese wine. You can go on franzesewine.com. And we can deliver it right to your door. And I think about 42 states. There's some that restrict, direct-to-consumer deliveries. But you're going to love the wine. And you're going to help us get to become a global brand. And you know what? If people didn't like the wine, we wouldn't be having the progress that we're having. But we're getting such good feedback on it. For the price, it's great. It's now in restaurants. It's in supermarkets. It's going to be everywhere. So jump on the Franzese wine train. And thank you for asking, people. And any questions you have about that, email me or email my partner, Sam, at franzesewine.com. Any of my team members, they'll give you all the information that you need. But I am so thankful that you're supporting it and that you're enjoying it and that we're bringing you a product that you can enjoy and love. That's it. Okay. All right. I got 5 more minutes. That's it. I'm way over time. Okay. Where are we? All right. Michael, gladly do. Oh, we already said that. 0516 Lee Lou. I'm sorry if I can't read the tag on this. We know that the Biden administration spent 4 years adulterating the files, the evidence, etc. Patel and Bongino needs to focus on the corruption of the files to uncover the facts. You're right. It's very hard to go back on a prior investigation and try to find things. But you know what? Sometimes things come out. Look what's coming out now about Obama and Brennan and Comey, how they all colluded, and Clinton, how they all colluded to oust Trump. They lied. They pull a huge deception over the American people with the whole Russiagate thing. They spent $36 trillion. They distracted our president from doing his job. They did all of this because they don't care about the American people. How many times do I have to say this? All they care about is maintaining power and making money. Mafia democracy. Read the book. I spell it all out. It's happening right before your eyes. I saw it years ago. It's happening right before your eyes. Money and power. That's it. Don't let them deceive you into letting you think that they care about you. They do not care about you. And I'm sorry, especially the Democrats, because if it wasn't especially the Democrats, they wouldn't have opened the borders. They wouldn't be okay with men competing against women in sports. They wouldn't be okay with gender-affirming surgery in minors. They wouldn't be okay with all the insane policies that they're putting forward. They just want to stay in power and impose their will on us. That's it. I'm sorry. Truth hurts some people, but the truth hurts, but it doesn't change the truth. Donald Trump is the one who put Epstein in jail and was president when he died. Trump allowed Barr to shut it down. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but you know what? Let's release the stuff and get it done. Let's release it. Yes, Trump did put him in jail. But Barr didn't like Trump. He went against Trump on a lot of things. Remember that. Let me tell you something. We think people in government are powerful. There's people even more powerful on top of them that are pulling the strings. blackmail, bribery, extortion. They want to put the mafia? We didn't invent that. Government invented that. Trust me, they use it a lot more effectively than we ever did on the street. Okay, Jay Big and Michael, they want us to move out of the red states instead of staying and fighting. It's their plan. You're right, but we won't let them do it. Jay Barbaro, Michael, gladly do time in a new facility like Alca. Oh, I already said that. What else? Bro, you and I are proof. God takes the foolish things of this world to do what? So we do have a fight, and not all will listen, but them that he has destined will hear you. Hallelujah. Justin J. 66. Thank you, Justin. Betty Flagg. At least people need to remember whose rear Newsom has been kissing, just like Beijing Biden. What governor invites and entertains the CCP at the state level? Yeah, you're right about that. We forgot about that. Yeah, why did he invite the people of China over? The government of China. You're right. I wouldn't put anything past Newsom. He's the biggest hypocrite and phony there is. And that's saying a lot since there are so many. Trust me. All right, last two here. Michael, look at California. SB 549 land grab. You know what? What's happening here is sickening. I don't even want to see anymore. When you have a bunch of Zionists running the U.S. government, this is a problem. Is Israel first, not the U.S.? All of tax dollars go there for what? Look, I'm not going to jump on the anti-Israel bandwagon. I'm sorry, people. Listen, Israel, like any other nation, has to be held accountable for bad behavior. Bottom line, they have to be held accountable. But I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm sorry. God has held the Israel people accountable for generations upon generations. Just read the Bible, read the Old Testament. Look, I'm not going to pretend to know what I don't know. Is Israel guilty of certain things? Yes, they are. Same way the United States is, Russia, China, you name it, they all are. You know, but I'm not an anti-Semite, and nobody's going to have me be an anti-Semite. And I will say this, when it comes to Israel and Iran, my position is very simple. Israel does have the right to exist as a nation. Do I like what's going on in Gaza? No. Do I want to see Palestinian people die and suffer? Of course not. We're all people. The bottom line, we're all people. We're all male or females. We're all people. Nobody wants to see innocent people die, whether we agree with them, disagree with them, or not. We don't want to. The problem is the divisiveness in this country has gone to a fever pitch where everything is to the extreme. Israel must die. Trump has got to die. Everything is to the extreme. It's so divided. And who is responsible for that? Our leadership. Period. They've caused it. When we see Democrats and Republicans at each other's throats, we take one side or the other. When we see the rhetoric amped up, we do the same. Many of us do. And it becomes a fever pitch and it spills out into the streets. It's all because of leadership, poor leadership. That's what we have in this country, poor leadership. And it's been going on for years. Leadership gone wild, leadership held unaccountable, leadership putting our country almost on the edge of bankruptcy. Leadership that lies to us, leadership that's corrupt. Remember, I'm saying leadership. I'm not calling them leaders. These are not leaders. They're poor imitations of leaders. Donald Trump is a leader. I'm sorry. Like it or not, Donald Trump is a leader. Biden was a puppet, was a horrible, horrible person in authority. He wasn't a leader. I would not. Adam Schiff, he's not a leader. He's in government. He's not a leader. Elizabeth Warren, she's not a leader. Newsom, he's not a leader. He's been given a position of power. He's not. These are not leaders. Donald Trump is a leader. He's proved it throughout his life. Biden, no. I'm sorry. A lot of these people, no. Nancy Pelosi, she's got leadership qualities. I have to say that. Okay, you got to give credit where credit is due. She knew how to get people to bend to her will. She knew how to get people to follow her. There was some good, but all in all, she was a deceiver to the American public. She made herself wealthy on our dime. No, I'm sorry. She broke the law. Insider trading, no doubt. You don't become a half a billionaire while you're in Congress by not, playing games with the stock market. And she's not going to be held accountable. She's in her 80s. What are you going to do to her? She made her money. Good. And she's been keeping quiet lately, which is good. Let her keep quiet. Let her go away. Just go away. You did enough. Go away. But people, I got to wrap it up, and, my wife says to me, Michael, you go on these rants. It's not rant. It's passion. It's passion. When you see the developments of the week, when you see what's going on, when you see how deceptive these people are, it gets to you. I'm sorry. I'm a passionate guy. I'm a people person. I'm pretty outgoing. Anybody that's visited one of my events, you know how I am. I spend time with the people. I've been this way my whole life. I've been a networker my whole life. It's just who I am. It's part of me. It's innate in me. I've been sharing my testimony my whole life. Why? Because I want other people to benefit the way I have benefited from my relationship with Jesus Christ. That's it. Because I do believe that there is a heaven and there is a hell. And I do believe what my Lord and Savior said, that the only way to get to the Father is through me. There's no other way. That's it. The only way to get to heaven is through Jesus. I believe that. So I share my testimony. I don't impose my faith on anyone. I don't try to turn anybody into a Christian, but I believe with all my heart in my faith. Doesn't make me a perfect Christian. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to sin. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to say a cuss word every once in a while, although I refrain from doing that online. I control myself. I try not to, because I don't think it's that kind of talk is productive at all, and I don't want people to follow me in that regard. We don't need to do that. We need to talk to one another as respectfully as we possibly can. Will I call out people? Yeah, I'll call out the hypocrites because you're misleading the people in a bad way. It's to their detriment. While you're capitalizing, you are talking to their detriment, and I don't like that. I'm sorry, I don't like that. So yes, I'll call you out. You're a phony and you're a hypocrite. Because the things you're saying now, you didn't say before when you were in power. When you saw bad things going on, you didn't correct it. You didn't speak out against it. You went along with it. You, as a congressperson, you didn't even have the respect to stand up. How horrific is this, to stand up to those parents of women that were raped and murdered by illegal migrants? You didn't even have the courtesy, the respect, the honor to stand up and honor them for a loss that you all caused because you supported a demented president who allowed these borders to be open. That was your will. You wanted the borders open. And you lied to say that they were secure. And when people were murdered, you didn't have the respect, the common decency to stand up and honor these people. How pathetic was that? How disgusting was that? And now you want to spew out hypocrisy about Donald Trump? I'm not buying it. And I'm going to make sure that people know and call you out for it. You don't ever deserve to be in office, not for one more minute after that slap in the face to those people, those parents, even the Gold Star parents, where your demented, ridiculous president caused the lives of 13 military and many more people with his aborted Afghanistan withdrawal against the advice of his generals because he wanted to play the hero. And then you don't even honor the Gold Star parents? He didn't? Kamala Harris didn't? Pathetic. They didn't deserve to be in office one more minute after that slap in the face to the blood on their hands they had to the people that they caused to be murdered. And you don't respect their families? Give me a break. Who were they kidding? Please. And they want to pontificate to us. They want to tell us how we need to live. They want to tell us what kind of morals we have to have. They want to lead us and our children. Really? They don't have 1% of decency in their bodies, okay, to dishonor people that they caused to disrupt their entire life. Please, all the people that were injured and murdered because these illegal migrants came over the border, 300,000 children trafficked and lost. And you want to dictate to us and tell us how to run our families, tell us how to raise our children? Give me a break. Go sell that to Sweeney, as the line in that old classic movie. Don't try to sell it to me. I'm not buying it. You have no business telling me how to raise my family or my grandchildren or anything else like that. People, I got to wrap it up, and listen, I thank you for allowing me to get this steam out of me that sometimes pent up all week. At the crusade tonight, I'll be praying, God, just give me the ability to control my emotion and not get myself too overheated on this. And give me the ability to continue this platform to try to enlighten people. And again, this is not about Donald Trump. This is not politics to me. This is decency. Human trafficking. This is a horrific, thing that's going on here in this world and in this country. We have to speak out against it. We have to hold people accountable. When people are lying to us, we have to hold them accountable because people are suffering as a result of it. It's not about politics. It's about accountability, about doing the right thing, about protecting our country and its people. That's what it's all about. My friends, how do I always leave you? Same way. By the way, I want to tell you this. I have a tremendous interview coming up, a sit down with none other than Pablo Escobar's son, Pablo Escobar Jr., who now goes under the name of Sebastian Marroquin. He's never done an interview in English. He sat down with me for the first time. We're going to be releasing it this coming week. You got to listen to this young man. Well, he's younger than me, but you got to listen to his story, what he grew up under with his father, the most wanted person in the world at one time, Pablo Escobar. You know the story, but watch it. It's coming out this week. You're going to love it. And Paul Hutchinson, I had him back on. We had another sit down about this human trafficking. You got to listen to this man. He's coming out with a book on July 29th, The Sound of Freedom. But this is more of the story. You can only tell so much in a 90-minute film, but you're going to hear what's going on in this world. 70 undercover operations to rescue young women this man was involved in. You gotta honor him for it. He gave up his time, his money, his influence, his power to do it. And what he's seen, amazing. So 2 great interviews coming up on my channel, okay, with Pablo Escobar Jr., Sebastian Marroquin, and Paul Hutchinson once again, because this whole Epstein matter just brought it to the table again. I had to have him on. A terrific guy, by the way. I met his lovely wife, wonderful people, really philanthropists, people that care about society, care about other human beings. So that's coming up. So people, how do I always leave you? Same way, never going to change, whether it's a live or a video, whatever. Be safe. Please, people, watch your backs. Be safe. Be healthy. RFK is trying to do his job. He's eliminating a lot of these bad food dyes and all this garbage the FDA is be putting in our food. Why? Payoffs. Street guy telling you this, payoffs, no doubt about it. Be safe. Be healthy. And yes, God bless each and every one of you. God bless your families. God bless your neighborhoods, the ones you love. God bless America in a major way. God bless Donald Trump. God bless our true leaders, not our phony leaders, because we want God to hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. But our true leaders, bless them, our Lord, please. And if you can make it to the Harvest Crusade tonight, be there. Maybe I'll get to meet you. We'll take a photo together. We'll pray together, whatever. We'll be enlightened and enriched in our Lord. See you all next time. Take care.